Cows by Matthew Stokoe. I hope I pronounced it right, which I probably didn't, so I apologize. Cows is a book that well, yeah. We are on a disturbing literature channel, right? And whatever you expect, you get when you get into the world of the disturbing. Cows is basically every sort of depravity you can think of, concocted, mixed into this wee book that I had the questionable pleasure of reading. Oi. Welcome. This is Check That Book, a channel where we get acquainted with the most disturbing books ever written. And we have cows. And we are not pleased. This is sick. This is just perhaps the sickest of all. For now. This definitely took the cake for me. So let's get into it. What is this? We have our main character, Stephen, who, wow, I don't even know how to begin describing this book without actually spoiling it. And my main goal on this channel is to introduce you to a book, not to analyze it by any means. There's plenty of decent channels for that. How to even how to accommodate this this perspective of the author that I'm gonna try and summarize it for you without spoiling it. It is a story of a man, a young man who this is a story of a young man who was not raised well by his mother, not really loved by his mother at all, who faces abuse every day, more mentally so than physically, actually. As a matter of fact, he can stand up to his mother, but it's more mental, as I got it. Stephen, our main character, dreams of a life like shown on TV, and even if he gets somewhere with it, like positively, it's not sincere. It is a perfect model of, how to live in his eyes. He watches some television, he goes, this is the perfect life, this is my dream life, I'm going to strive towards it. I want a wife, a kid, a cozy home, all of that sorts of things. And once he eventually gets it, if he gets it, read the book, because even that is questionable, because by the end of the book, you will be questioning everything. Stephen's sanity is questioned from the very first pages, but is what's going on in the book actually real? Because amongst all of the brutality and blood and mess and gore and all of that disgusting stuff, by the end you are left with a lingering feeling of bullshit. And quite literally so, because cows, as the name suggests, it has to do with cattle. Yeah, Stephen works. By the way, vegans, this book is not for you. Yeah, Stephen grinds meat. He works at a factory. And one day he's approached by, read it for yourself, by whom he's approached. Honestly, I do not want to spoil it for you, because to me, Going into it completely blindly was the best thing I could have done, and the best thing you can do. Just don't overthink it too much. If you can get past the violence, and there's a lot of it, like there's gore and blood and disgusting depictions everywhere. There's depravity. It's like every sort of, yeah, like I mentioned, every sort of depravity and disgustingness, every sort of it that you can imagine is pretty much in that book. Every sort. I am not going to even. Okay, I am. This is the channel for this thing exactly. You know what you're in for, you know what you're here for. Let me tell you. Yes, you will definitely feel sick by the end of the book. Not just by the end, throughout the entire book, you'll feel sick. That was the first time I actually thought for a second about putting the book away and maybe not handling it at all. Not on this channel, I mean. That thought crossed my mind once, and for the first time ever since I've started getting involved with disturbing literature. You will have your average eating of feces, a lot of piss and crap, and animals and violence with those, because, well, but it's actually interesting the way it's intertwined. You know, it's I wouldn't. What the hell was going on in the mind of the author? I mean, at the very moment. Okay, ultimate violence, of course. By the way, I wouldn't say rape. Actually, no, there will be that too, and it's just it hits you different because you won't even realize what you're reading until you're into like the second sentence, and you go, ooh, ooh. So we're there already. Why is Stephen reacting the way he does? Because no normal person would. And then it hits you up towards the end that, well, actually, Stephen isn't a normal person. At least, in my opinion, he isn't. What is normality, right? I mean, we all have our quirks, but I doubt that most of us get involved sexually with a cow and then murder, you know, um, and shit eating. I don't think that's what, you know, more or less adequate people do. What kind of a son refers to his mother as a hag beast? Well, I mean, he must have his reasons, right? Right? Believe me, he does. I am yet to read a more disgusting female character in a book. Sorry for this chair. It's not that new. I am yet to encounter a more disgusting female character in literature. And there's plenty. There's plenty of female characters I loathe, but this one, the nameless mother of our character, she so far, for now, she takes the cake. I hate her. Why? Woman, what the honestly, what the this mother-son um, relationship is it's very awkward at first. I mean, you can easily see that there's something clearly wrong, and at first I thought, well, it's one of those where, you know, we have a dysfunctional family. Whoop-de-doo. Interesting stuff. Let's get involved psychologically. Where does it come from and where will it lead us to? It leads you to madness and ultimate depravity on both sides. Alice in Wonderland turned upside down and gender reversed, and it's regurgitated from the belly of the beast, of the hag beast. It's regurgitated in a disgusting way that completely kills the moral of the story. I didn't see a moral in this one. This is probably the first time I don't even see the value of it as a shock content. I mean, sure, but we have plenty of other titles just for that purpose. Shock content, just to sit there and be like, I want my dog. And whenever Stephen does find himself in a happy place, a place of normality, as he calls it, a part of a family, having a dinner with his girlfriend, uh, even then, it's presented in a way that you understand it's an illusion. And he himself says that it's an illusion of happiness that we're both eager to accept. But at the same time, he calls it real, and his family wants to believe it's real. And you, as a reader, you get confused. I couldn't care too much. I didn't care too much for the character. Because once I saw that, yeah, sure, he had his trauma, but it seemed to me that Stephen never really fought back. He could have had his chances, and he did have his chances. And ultimately, the author didn't describe or present any reasons for Stephen not fighting back. I mean, there was a rather petty attempt that Stephen, lacks security, a sense of security, and he needs his mother gone out of the picture so that he could, start his own family and do things. But and at work, when he's being sodomized by his boss, like, do something. Why do you give in to that? Do you enjoy it, maybe? Or maybe the thing isn't real and it's not even happening to you. There's so many questions. So many questions. And by the end, you don't really get an answer. The ending is actually completely bonkers. I highly recommend checking it out. But just trigger warning for everything. Everything might trigger you. I mean, it has absolutely everything. Bestiality, again, rape, sodomy, murder, blood, gore, feces. There is a murder of a fetus. So, yeah, do with it as you may. All sorts of depravity and ultimately screwed up shit. Stephen desperately wants to feel needed, and he yearns belonging. Almost every human does want these sorts of things, and Stephen wants it too. He just doesn't seem to do much to get it. I mean, he does things, but to me as a reader, it seemed like he's doing all the wrong things. Oh, he's doing it all wrong, and he's not helping himself at all. And even eventually, when he gets the things that he wants, his wee world of comfort zone and normality collapses. Well, if you want to know why, then read about it. The author does a great job describing how it collapses, but why? That's where we can start to analyze and speculate. But I'm not really here for that. But it did, yeah. This book is so disgusting. It literally made me want to put it away for a second. I thought that, yeah. But alas, here I am, and I'm glad we did it. It was recommended by Goodreads as one of the worst books of the century. Not in that sense, but in a sense of it being, it having every sort of miserable and disgusting act you could imagine. So, yes. And whilst the author does give some interesting philosophical ideas in the beginning of the book, uh, not some actually, there's this one thought I could fish out, which is a clear again parallel, and I love searching and finding parallels um, with us as humans, as middle class workers, society. I mean, that sort of thing. Yeah, a cow is just there. It lives until it's killed and consumed, and basically a person just lives and works until he is no longer needed and he's weak and useless and he's just killed off, which is kind of what's going on in the world and always has been that way. I mean, but again, we're not getting deeper into it. I'm just sharing this wee thought with you so that you could, maybe get something out of this as well, because it might be one of the thoughts behind the book. I don't know. It's very hard to mm, provide teaser information on a book, a disturbing book, without actually spoiling it. So I hope I'm doing an okay job so far. And I would also like to take this wee moment to thank you all guys for your kind words in the comments. Not many, but still, for your activity and support. This is really cool. Um, I hope we can develop and make bigger and more obscure content. There's a lot of titles out there, and I can't wait to share them with you. So thank you for it. If you like disturbing content, consider giving this video a boost in a form of an erect thumb and a subscription perhaps. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. I shall see you soon. Goodbye.